Today we'll be talking about the light reactions of photosynthesis. And the light reactions take place in the first half of photosynthesis, and it's followed by the Calvin cycle. In this video, we'll be talking about what the light reactions are, where it happens, why it happens, and how it happens.
In the light reactions of photosynthesis, what basically occurs is the transformation of sunlight or solar energy into chemical energy. So it begins with light energy and water, and the hydrogens in the water supply the reaction with the electrons necessary. The end result is potential energy in the form of sugars and oxygen as a byproduct. The light reactions occur so that photoautotrophs can use this chemical energy to do processes such as growing, reproducing, etc. Photoautotrophs are organisms that use solar energy, water, and carbon dioxide and convert it into usable chemical energy in the form of sugars and carbohydrates. So if we break down this word, photo means light, auto means self, and troph means to feed. Essentially, a photoautotroph self-feeds using light energy. The chemical energy that photoautotrophs generate is important because 1, it can be used by the plant itself, or 2, transferred into the ecosystem when something eats it. And of course, this is how they support the rest of the food chain that follows. A plant's leaf has small pores called the stomata, which allow for the flow of gases like CO2 in and out of the plant for photosynthesis. If we go deeper into the plant cell, we will find the chloroplasts. The chloroplasts are organelles located in the layer of the leaf called the mesophyll. Inside the chloroplasts of the plant cell, there are grana, which are composed of stacks of thylakoids. Surrounding the grana in the chloroplast is a fluid called the stroma. Light reactions of photosynthesis occur in the thylakoid of the chloroplasts. Between the thylakoids is what is known as the thylakoid space. Embedded inside the thylakoid membrane are structures known as photosystems. Photosystems are a combination of proteins and pigment molecules that are embedded in the thylakoid membrane. This is what they look like. Photosystems are both a light-gathering complex and the reaction center for the light reactions. Photosystems contain pigment molecules, which act as an absorption mechanism for photons, or the measurable amount of light energy. Pigment molecules capture energy from sunlight. The primary pigment molecule in the chloroplasts is chlorophyll. It gives plants their green color. Let's take a look closely at what happens during the light reactions. Here's a diagram of the thylakoid membrane. Embedded on the membrane is the electron transport chain, and within are photosystems. There are 2 photosystems, photosystem 2 and photosystem 1. The first one here is photosystem 2, and then the following is photosystem 1. Energy is put through photosystems. So when the light hits a pigment molecule, the energy is absorbed by the electrons. Remember that these electrons come from the hydrogens in water that is absorbed by the plant. The energy then excites the electrons from within, and the electron jumps into a high energy state. So this excited electron cannot stay in this state for long, and so it needs to transfer its energy somewhere else. The energy is transferred to another electron in a neighboring pigment, and when this happens, the electron becomes excited and jumps to a high energy state, and then it falls to the ground state, the same as before, and the process repeats and repeats until the energy reaches the reaction center. Here, the electron is captured by chlorophyll A, or a special pigment that can absorb electrons in its excited state, and the energy goes into the electron transport chain, where ATP is produced to pump hydrogen ions from the stroma, here's the stroma, into the thylakoid space down here. Again, the water is split so that photosystem 2 can receive its electrons from hydrogen, and the remaining product is oxygen. This is where we get oxygen from photosynthesis. The electrons that come out of the electron transport chain are funneled into photosystem 1, where essentially the same process happens again. Light strikes a pigment, and the electrons absorb the energy and jump to a high energy state. And once the energy reaches the reaction center, it is absorbed and put into the electron transport chain once more. In this electron transport chain, however, the electron's final destination is an electron carrier, like NADPH. NADPH and ATP that are produced by the light reactions move on to the Calvin cycle where glucose is made. This concludes the light reactions of photosynthesis.